All right. Happy Thursday afternoon to those of you catching me live, or if you're catching this on the replay on our podcast or on one of the videos. Welcome to whatever day it is and time that you are listening to this. Today, what we're going to talk about is why figure skaters, your time in the ER, and your business success are all interconnected. My name is Matt Gillogly. I'm your host. I am the president of SRP Medical Marketing, where I give you the true dope on how to run a successful cash-based medical practice. And what makes me qualified to talk about this? Well, because I owned 3 of them myself. I started them from the ground up. So today, let's talk about figure skating. Now, I'm not necessarily a big fan of figure skating. I think it's interesting. I think it's kind of fascinating that they can spin around on that little blade and get all that speed and all that other stuff. But an interesting thing happened to me today at my workout. Now, I am a regular CrossFitter. I like to do CrossFit 3 to 4 times a week. Yeah, I'm one of those knuckleheads. And just remember, every day is leg day at CrossFit. But I love it. I love the intensity of it. I love the difficultness of it. And we have entered into a phase right now where there's a lot of gymnastic movements. Now, I'm not the most flexible guy in the world. Just ask my chiropractor or my masseuse. I get tight pretty fast, and I get kind of wobbly, not really good at balancing on things. And on top of it, I'm like 5'7", and I'm not really strong. But anyway, the whole gymnastics move type thing is challenging for me. Well, today we had to do what is called a handstand walk for 20 feet. For the record, I didn't accomplish it. All right. But it was something that was way out of my comfort zone. Okay. So like anything that's out of my comfort zone, I watch the demo. I watch other people do it, and then I go after it. And I usually fail a couple of times, and then through some coaching, I usually can get it. Today, I didn't get that very far, but there was an interesting thing that I learned today, and that's what I want to share with you. And it's why walking on your hands and being a figure skater and being an entrepreneur and working in the ER are all interconnected. So have you ever thought about why figure skaters don't get dizzy when they spin? They're up there and they're doing the spin thing, right? And they're all spinning around and all of it. And then they come back out and then they, skate really fast and they do triple sock house and all that fun stuff. Well, the short answer is training, right? Everybody goes, they do a lot of training. They've been doing it a long time. But the real reason why, and I'm reading this from Scientific American because I had to re-Google this, is it isn't because that they do a lot of training per se, but it's the understanding of the vestibular system. Now, you probably know what the vestibular system is because you're a doctor. I sure as hell don't, because I'm in marketing, for God's sakes. So this is the apparatus in your inner ear that helps keep us upright. Okay. Now this system contains special, and I'm reading this from Scientific American, so this is why I'm looking over here to the right. This system contains special sensory nerve cells that can detect the speed and direction at which our head moves. These sensors are tightly coupled with our eye movements and with our perception of our body's position and motion through space. Okay, blah, 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 blah. All right. Now, spinning is clearly more complicated, but I'm going to kind of fast track this forward. So in this article, they talk about, what they do is they learn to stay focused on one area right up above them. And they tell this story in here of if you are at a railroad crossing and the gates go down and a freight train goes by. I grew up in Chicago, so freight trains are always going by. And they start going by really fast. If you scan it and go back and scan it and go back and scan it and go back, what happens is that you start to get a little motion sickness. The key is to stay focused on one point. Well, so that got me to thinking, right? As I'm sitting there at 6:30 this morning, kind of sleepy, a little tired, a little tight. And that is, you know what? It's the exact same reason why you can become successful in owning your own practice. And I'll tie in the ER in just a minute. The problem with most doctors when they go to start their own practice is they have very little training. They like the idea of owning their practice. They like the idea of being out on their own. They like the idea for being out from under the thumb of the insurance companies and the big hospitals, but they don't know how to do it. Okay. It'd be kind of like if you went to CrossFit this morning and you tried to do the 20-foot handstand walk without any training, without really understanding what's going on. And so what happens is that when a doctor goes into this entrepreneurial venture, and then when things get really, really dicey, and they do get dicey, things get challenging, things get tough, what happens is they start to get really, really dizzy because they are out of their comfort zone. They're trying to do something that they've never done before without any coaching from somebody that knows how to do it. It would be like if I was in my rotations or residency program and they just shoved me in the ER without anybody backing me up. You see, that's the big issue, right? Doctors are incredibly smart. They're incredibly talented people. I know of no other group that sacrifices so much for so little, and those are doctors. So little meaning so little pay. So, but I get ahead of myself. So let's go back to the figure skater. So the figure skater, in order for them to learn how to spin, they have to focus on a point right up in the ceiling that they never lose sight of. They have to have their mark, and they don't let their eyes spin around. And by doing that practice over and over again, their body gets more and more used to it. Fast forward to today. First time I'm trying to do a 20-foot handstand walk. I can barely do a handstand. And time again, a little bit of practice, a little bit of failure, and lots of coaching, I can eventually do it. You see, the same thing holds true when you were in the ER. I'm assuming you were in the ER. Most doctors do some kind of rotation in the ER. But the first time that you saw somebody come in with gunshot wounds or knife stabbing or hemorrhaging or whatever else scary thing comes in, somebody had to show you how to do it, right? Let's say that you had your first diabetic cyst that when you touched it, popped and squirted up against the wall. That smell. I've never smelled the smell. I've been told about the smell. I got to believe it's pretty bad. Anyway, but there's a right way, and somebody taught you how to aspirate that and clean it out. And somebody taught you how to stop the bleeding, well, without the patient dying. Somebody taught you how to do all this, and they were right there with you, maybe even over your shoulder, telling you, you're doing a good job. You're doing a great job. Keep going. Nope. Go over there to the left. Go over there to the right. You see, that's the difference. In every phase of your life to get to where you are right now, you have probably had a coach. You've probably had a mentor. You've probably had somebody teaching you how to stare up at the ceiling and spin around like a figure skater so that you don't get dizzy. And the first couple times you've done it, you did it, you probably got a little dizzy. You probably got a little overwhelmed. You probably got a little frustrated. You probably got a little tired. But the next time you did it, you got a little bit better. And the next time you did it, you got a little bit better. And the next time you did it, you got a little bit better because you have a coach standing next to you. And so when you go out and you try to start a practice, grow a practice, do a practice that's cash-based that you own on your own, and you do it without any help. And I'm not talking about attending a training on how to do a stem cell procedure. That's one thing. But I'm talking about somebody who can be your consigliere, somebody who can coach you on how to do this, who can be your resource. No, don't go there, go this way. Somebody who can guide you, somebody who can teach you how to stare up at the ceiling while you're spinning around so you don't get dizzy, which will lead me to my final point of this short little video and podcast today. And that's this. See, the real trick to not getting dizzy as a figure skater is to focus on a point on the other side. See, if I'm a figure skater and I'm spinning around, I'm staring at a spot up in the ceiling. Maybe it's a light fixture, maybe it's a place of the catwalk or something like that, or maybe it's a star on the flag. But I zero in on that point because that point, it becomes my North Star. It becomes my true beacon that if I take my eye off of it and I get distracted by something over there, bam, I'm on my butt right on the ice. No gold medal. See you next year. Okay? So when you own your own practice, you have to focus. You have to have a place in the horizon that you focus. When you're out at sea, the most challenging part about being out at sea when the seas get rough is you lose the ability to focus on the horizon. The horizon disappears and you start getting seasick. I know I've been in some boats that have been in some pretty bad waves. It's not fun, right? You got to be able to focus on the point ahead. When you are dealing with a client or a patient in the ER, you don't worry about what you don't know. You focus on the end result. So here's my advice to you. Or not advice. How about what I want you to take from today? is I want you to take from today is that first and foremost, it takes training. It takes effort. It takes work to become very proficient and excellent at running your business. Now, I certainly don't expect you to spend as much time learning that as you did to become a doctor. There are some shortcuts that you can take, and there's some things that you can learn, and you don't have to spend 20 years learning like I did. I mean, this is what I do for a living, just like you are a doctor. I have as much time learning this stuff as you did to learn your craft in medicine, and I learn every day just like you do. But the reality is that it takes a little bit of effort. It takes commitment. You didn't become a doctor because of lack of commitment. You became a doctor because of commitment, because of focusing on the point in the horizon, because while you were spinning in med school, unable to grasp organic chemistry or whatever it was that challenged you. I said that one time to a doctor of mine. He goes, "What's the big deal about organic chemistry?" It was really simple. I just laughed. So when you've got to stay focused on that horizon, focus on the point of where you're going. If you stay focused on the point when you were in med school of becoming a doctor and then surviving residency and going through rotations and all this fun stuff, you probably made it. If you focused on and got distracted by this over here and that over there, you probably landed flat on your arse right on the ice. Arse on the ice. There you go. That's a phrase for the day. So that's what I want you to take today. See, there's a lot of, next time you watch a figure skater, I want you to watch them. Really watch them. Watch them as they spin. And they look up into the sky, or they look out on the horizon, okay? And they focus on their point. It's so that they don't get dizzy. It's so that they trick their body so that the body will continue moving forward. So when you're starting your business, stay focused on the horizon. Stay focused on where you want to go. And make sure, by God, whether it's me or somebody else, make sure you have somebody that is showing you the way. Who's showing you the way so that you can have the success you richly deserve. All right, that's it for today, folks. My name is Matthew Gillogly. You can check us out at srpmedicalmarketing.com/book to get the latest copy of my book, The Anatomy of a Seven-Figure Medical Practice. It's the entire system that I put in place to grow our practices from startup to 3 locations. Y'all have a great day. Stay salty. Bye.